Hey, Michael Wojcik here with the City Council update for January 23rd, 2013. Got a lot of feedback recently that people just loved when I was doing these more frequently, so I'm going to try real hard to get these going more frequently again. I still have been putting them up, but not as often as I used to. I'm going to try and get back to doing the updates after the meeting. And hey, if I miss one, just guilt me and I'll go back and do it. That's going to keep me on my game, make sure I keep doing it. It's takes a little bit of motivation to do these after the city council meetings, particularly if you sit there for 6 hours and you get out at 1 in the morning. But it's important for me to communicate what's going on. So maybe four items I'm going to talk about tonight. First of all, the city of Rochester got an Emmy, like not a parody award, but like I'd like to thank the Academy type Emmy. We and really, you know, the city of Rochester played an ancillary role, but this is the wonderful program, the Serve Our Troops program, that basically allows, restaurateurs. Joe Powers has been very involved with this with Canadian Honker. Basically, they'll go out and serve our troops somewhere a meal, and there will be a television link between there and someplace here. And basically, the cool thing is the families get to basically eat together. They're serving them there, they're serving them here. There's a video connection. They can see each other, talk to each other. Really a spectacular thing. And like, no kidding, there was an Emmy, and I understand we're going to be displaying it at Joe Powers Canadian Honker restaurant on 2nd Street, so you can go in there and touch an Oscar, I guess. Please don't drop it. Second thing I want to talk about is back up a little bit here and see if we can actually get this on camera. There we go. Little purple ribbon right here, and this is something coming from Nora Dooley did a nice little presentation for us. But if you recall, we did a rushed ordinance basically calling for civility and mutual respect when we had a property owner down, not in Rochester, just outside the city limits, who decided to make a display with a chair and a noose and whatever else, and obviously a very hate-filled speech, very racist statement that was being made right there. And out of that, there's going to be a campaign that's going to be unveiled tomorrow night with these purple ribbons, which is basically a call for mutual respect and try and avoid some of that kind of stuff. And for those of you that don't think the chair with the noose and bayonet or whatever that was also with this one was a racist statement, I assure you, it is very racist, and it has no place being in our community. I kind of joke that if that road had been in the city limits, I would have changed the name of the road to Barack Obama Drive, just so that's what showed up on the folks that did it. That would be their address, would be on Barack Obama Drive. But I don't think the county officials out there have quite the same sense of humor that I do. But anyways, very nice gesture, and we're going to do this. We were given these civility ribbons immediately before Jan Thronson came up to do a little grandstanding at the city council, so I was extra on my best behavior, let's just say. One other thing, a little bit of a plea, and actually if you follow closely, I actually pulled the wrong number because I had to do it kind of on the fly, but talked about the sales tax project that's going to be going on at the corner of Elton Hills Drive and Broadway. And what that is $20 million to work on the rec center and build a new senior center there. And if you don't know exactly what that incorporates, well, good, because neither do I. We haven't had a single meeting to discuss it. We started the process with getting hiring a firm that's going to interview architects for us. But I made a fairly impassioned plea to the city council. Let's make sure we do this one right, because that is a prime piece of real estate, and not a lot of people realize that we actually lose a similar amount of money on the rec center as we do the civic center every year. And for whatever reason, one gets talked about a lot, the other one doesn't. There was a study a number of years ago that talked about the possibility of integrating a hotel on that site to make it cash flow better. But what we have there is we have a prime urban site at Broadway and Elton Hills Drive, substantial riverfront property, very desirable place, very transit-oriented place, and we can spend $20 million out there and get a senior center and a improved rec center. But if we did that, we'd be slapping the taxpayers in the face. What we need to do is we need to take the $20 million, the substantial piece of land that we own out there, and figure out how to get the most bang for our buck. And maybe that's a mixed-use urban development that includes a transit hub, a hotel, affordable housing, senior housing, market rate housing, rentals or ownership housing. Take advantage of those beautiful river views, integrate in the senior center, integrate in retail, integrate in the rec center. talk about a sweet pot for developers to compete over. We'd have a prime piece of land for them to do their project on, already astonishing facilities, an additional $20 million to build us the rec center and senior center that we need, and possible tax increment financing on top of that. We have a really sweet package to put a spectacular development there, and if we can actually get tax income from this property, if it's just government sites out there or nonprofits with the rec center and the senior center, we're not getting any tax flow out of that, and we're going to probably continue losing a substantial amount of money in that area. But if we can integrate some of these other uses in, we create a highly desirable area, a great urban district. We utilize a great piece of urban land to the fullest of its ability. And the kicker is also on this parcel, instead of being a weight on the overall budget, and keep in mind we're getting some great stuff for that, but it is a weight on the budget, we actually have a place that is close to break even. I mean, it's just a phenomenal thing that we have to pursue from a city council standpoint. And I tell you, if we come out of that with like a few patches on that ugly facade of the rec center and a senior center that's a single-story building with a big old suburban parking lot in the front, we have slapped the taxpayers in the face, and we have really failed to do our job. So I want to make sure we do it right and keep the pressure up on your council members to make sure we don't let some a lousy project to go through. We've got too much of that in the history of Rochester. Finally, something a lot of people care about, the billboards. We passed 5-1 to allow the billboard to go on West Circle Drive. I put an entire blog post up. I put a video up about this. Those of you who watch it know. I'm going to just recap briefly. We voted for this not because we want signs on West Circle Drive. We voted for this because it was the best deal for the city of Rochester. We have I put a modified or I made an amendment that makes the language pretty ironclad that we're not going to get a bunch of signs out there. Technically, there are 2 spots that are open. There's only 1 spot that's getting a sign, but in order to put a sign up there, you have to remove 250% of the signage from elsewhere in the city. So what we're doing in a very industrial area, there's no residential that's even going to be able to see this. It's strictly in a residential commercial area. We're putting up a single billboard. Then in 10 urban areas, a lot of which are redevelopable parcels, more urban areas that are residential friendly, we're going to lose 10 billboards there. So we're getting 1 billboard, we're losing 10 billboards, and I think the 10 that we're losing are in areas that are ripe for redevelopment, a lot of them. And the one that we're putting in is, frankly, not a beautiful area. It's industrial, it's commercial, it's a asphalt and concrete wasteland. It is unfriendly to pedestrians, it's unfriendly to cyclists. The county doesn't even let you put in trees out there. I don't think we're protecting the architectural significance of, I don't think we're going to hurt the architectural significance of Black's Auto Garage or some of those other horrible buildings that went up out there. I mean, we created a suburban sprawl hole in the ground out there, and we're putting a billboard up there in a place that only caters to automobiles and nothing else, and we're getting great gains elsewhere. So I know not everybody's happy, but it's truly 1 sign that's going up out there, 10 are going down. I know that people are afraid of the slippery slope. I don't agree with that. I think that we might very well consider another sign if we ever had a package this sweet again, but I just don't think we'll ever be able to get a package that's quite this sweet. So hate away if you want, but the reality is that I did support that. It was 5-1. The mayor has talked about vetoing it. If he does veto it, it's important to know that I believe it only requires 4 votes right now to override the mayor's veto, and there are already 5 on it. And I understand where he's coming from. I said that in my remarks. I'm not particularly happy about being the guy that puts a sign on West Circle Drive, but we're really helping to clean up 10 other areas, and I think that's something we need to focus on. If you're worried about light coming into your windows from a billboard, ain't ever gonna happen. I mean, this is just a heavy industrial area where it's going. So there you have it. It's a City Council update, January 23rd, 2013. As always, I welcome your comments. Send me your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. And have a great, whatever it is you're watching this.